Hey guys, and welcome back to Beginner Website. Now in today's video we're going to be doing a Divi theme tutorial. Now if you're interested in using Divi, it's an amazing theme. It's also a plugin that you can use for other themes as well, which makes it really versatile. And I just want to show you how you can actually use it. It's extremely simple once you know what you're doing, so if you are feeling a little bit lost, don't freak out. I am going to walk you through exactly how to use it. And I've been using Divi theme for a very long time. It's extremely powerful and you can do so many things with it. You'll never need to upgrade to any other theme. Now, just before I get into the tutorial, I just want to mention, if you haven't actually got Divi yet and you're interested in getting it, I'm giving away a free SEO course, which is search engine optimization. Essentially, it's talking about ranking your website on Google much easier. If you're interested in getting that for free, all you need to do is purchase Divi through one of the links in the description or on my website at www.beginnerwebsite.com, and I'm actually going to give you that course for free. I'm not selling it anywhere else. This is an exclusive only for viewers of Beginner Website. So if you're interested in grabbing that and you haven't got Divi, all the instructions will be in the video description. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump behind the screen in a second and I'm going to show you exactly how to use Divi. Once again, it's an amazing theme and I'm excited to jump into this training. Okay guys, welcome to this Divi theme tutorial. Now this is a fresh install of WordPress and I have actually already added in the Divi theme. Now just to let you know, I have skipped a few things. I didn't want to waste your time. What I have done for this tutorial is already installed and activated my Divi theme. So if you haven't yet done that, pause this video and go and activate your theme. It's inside of your Elegant Themes membership. And the second thing I have done is I personally prefer to use the classic editor when I am in the back end. So I always enable the classic editor here. You don't need a third-party plugin, and to get access to that, go to Builder and then Advanced, and then down the bottom here you have classic editor. There's also the product tour and the latest Divi Builder experience. I always disable those. This one can sometimes be buggy as it is just being launched, and this one I have seen 100 times, so I no longer need to watch it. Feel free to. But if you want to keep up with this tutorial, I highly recommend you turn it off as well. So I'm just going to click changes to make sure I have saved it. Now, other things that I have done, I will just reload this page to show you. I have created 4 blank pages so far. One is home, one is about, one is services, and one is contact. They should look something similar to this. They are not customized in any way just yet. But I also have created a primary menu. To do so, just go to Appearance Menus, create a menu, press Create Menu, then add in the pages you want, and I've also made it a primary menu. Lastly, I have also created the permalink as the post name. So it was originally a date and name, but I have changed it to post name, so it is now a customized URL. It looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. If you want to do that, it is just in Settings, Permalinks, and it is here. So if you have done all of these steps, you should now be up to me. The last part was I created the 4 pages. To do so, you just go to Pages, All Pages. And for this example, I've created a home, contacts, about, and also services. So once you've done all those things, or if you already know what you're doing, your page is already created, that's completely fine. It's time to get started with this tutorial. Now, if you aren't up to here and you are completely lost, just before I continue, there is going to be a link in the description to another video that's going to show you exactly how to set up WordPress. And to give you a sort of tutorial about WordPress itself, it is quite a complex platform, but I will teach you all the things you need to know without complicating it too much. So go ahead and watch that first and then come back and watch this. Right, so let's get stuck into today's training. So first things first, we're going to design our homepage, and to do so, I want you just to go to the homepage, which can be done easily through, home, and click view. And then what you want to do is come on to the top here and click Enable Visual Builder. Now, if you don't see this bar, it means you're not logged into your WordPress website, so make sure you go and log in. So first thing you want to do is click Enable Visual Builder. Now, this is going to load. It depends how fast your internet is. Sometimes it can take longer, sometimes it is extremely fast, like mine is now. So it might take a little bit longer than mine personally, but that's completely cool. So first thing, I'm actually going to choose a pre-made layout. So I'm going to click Browse Layouts. and then it is going to give me all of the options inside of Divi. Now, just to let you know, there is 1290 different layouts, and there is 174 different types of layout packs. So what I really like about Divi is they have actually created websites based on niches. So you can actually load any of these websites. Once you have your membership, you can do any of these particular things and install them with just one click as many times as you want. It's amazing. But for this particular example, I'm just going to choose a very, very basic pack, and it's going to be the design agency pack, right? So it's the second one here. If you want to choose another one, that's completely fine. For this example though, I'm going to choose this one. So what I'm going to do is click on it, and it's going to give me an option of all of the different pages that are inside this pack. I'm actually going to just choose the home one just here on the left. The landing is a longer version of home. If you want to use that, it's up to you. But I'm just going to use home for this particular one. Then what you want to do is click use this layout if you are happy. If you want to see a live demo, you can so by clicking live demo. This is basically what the website's going to look like with all the animations and everything already pre-built. So that's really cool. So what I'm going to do once again is go use this layout, and it is going to upload all of the demo data into my home page. Now, one thing I really like about Divi is it includes all of the demo data. One thing that really grinds my gears is when you use a theme builder, you buy the theme, you press install, and then it doesn't look anything like the website that you wanted it to look like when you purchased it. So that's one good thing about Divi. Everything is already here ready to go. So as you saw, it loaded extremely quick and it is all ready to go. Now, I'll quickly just give you a rundown of what you need to know, because sometimes it can be confusing. Now, as you see, we have a blue box, we have a green box, and then we've got a gray box. So the way it works is the blue box is actually a section, and to show you what a section is, I press the plus button, and this is how you add sections, and you can see I've got here a regular, a specialty, or a full width. Now honestly, all the time I only use regular. I don't use specialty or full width, but that's entirely up to you. You can also save sections if you are a web developer, and you can add them to your library and use them throughout any Divi website in the world. So for this example, I recommend you always just stay with regular. Okay, so the blue section here is the settings for the section. Now, second of all, you will see the green, and the green is actually the container. So if I click on the green, you'll see you've got all these different containers that you can drop in modules, which is going to be the next part. So if you wanted to have two things here, like in this example, you could use a 2 layout. If you wanted to have 3, like in here, you could add 3. So it is really handy having all of these options available. As you can see, it goes up to 6, I believe, which is really handy. And if you choose one and you find that it's not the right one, you might want to add something else later or remove something. Don't worry, you can actually change it, and I'll show you actually down here right now. If you want to change the layout, say you wanted it to become a 2, you just click on this button and you can make it a 2. Now it's got two sections instead of 3. And if you want to change it back to 3, you can do so here. You will just have to move this back across. So that's how simple it is, and that is pretty much what a row is, or a container. Last of all is your modules, which is going to be actually all of the features that is included with Divi. And to show you what those are, just click on any of the gray pluses, and then all of the features are here. So you can see we've got a lot of features, and to be honest, I haven't used all of them. There is far too many, and I don't have a purpose for all of them, but the main ones are there that you need. My favorite by far is always the email opt-in. I love collecting leads. Anyone in business should be collecting leads. So if you aren't, make sure you look into it once your website is done. It helps grow your business and make more sales. And then, of course, there's things like images, galleries. There is also sliders, text. Text is the main one I generally use, and also video slider, that sort of thing. But there's loads of stuff here, and to actually use them, it's nothing hard. Say I wanted to add video, I could either just press it and it's going to add it in automatically, like so. And then once it's there, you can drag it around by just clicking on this little button here, which is the move button, and you can you can drop it anywhere you want on the screen. As you see, the little gray box is going to show you where it's going to land. So as this is a container of 1, it's going to be that big. As this is a container of 3, then it's going to be that big. So hopefully that makes sense. And then drop it when you want to drop it. And if you want to delete it, everything is here. Now, just to give you a quick overview of what the buttons actually do. This one, like we've just mentioned, is move. This one is actually all the settings. This one is duplicate. So if you really like the module you've created, or you're say creating 3 identical things, you can just press duplicate and it's going to quickly duplicate it like so. And then this one here, the 4th one, is actually save. So if you customize something and you're going to be using it across your website a lot, I suggest you save it. You can name it what you want. And then there's actually a really cool feature here, which is called make this a global item. And if it's something like a contact form and it's going to be the same contact form, nothing's different about it, you can make it global. And what that's going to do is no matter which of the forms or the modules that you edit, if it's a global module, then all of the settings are going to change on all of them. So it's a really, really cool thing. It's a little bit advanced, but if you want to give it a go, feel free to. So I'm going to take that off and delete it like so. Right, so let's just imagine that you wanted to use this existing layout and you wanted to make it your own. What you could do is you could hover over it, you can click on the little cog and it's going to bring up a little box, and on the box you can start adding in your information. So this could be we open 24/7, and as you can see on the left, it's changing it live. And the great thing about Divi is it allows you to have the entire screen so you know exactly what your website is going to look like. So that's really cool. Now let's just say I want to change this to my name. This is the beginner website agency, right? As you can see. Now you might be wondering, hey, what happened? The color changed. Well, there is actually a really cool feature that I don't think any other theme I've seen is able to do. And as well as having the settings box here, you can actually edit it live, right? So instead of having the box open, you can start typing here. And to get the different colors, what you just want to do is highlight the text you want to change, and you'll see this little box pops up, and you can change underlines, you can do bolds, italics, everything like that. So it's actually splits up the text box, which was only really reserved to people that understand how to do HTML. But now you can just press color, you can make it say black like it was before, and you can close it, and now that is the 2 different colors. So that's a really cool feature that honestly a few other page builders can't do. So this is a really cool little thing. Now you can just continue adding and changing the content if you want. Let's just pretend you don't want this module here. Just click on delete and then it's gone. Now, if you accidentally delete something, you can always press Command Z on a Mac, I believe Control Z on a Windows computer, and it's going to bring it back like so. Or else another way around is just go to any box and right click or double click on Mac, and you can press undo, and all of this will change. I only found this out after I think a year of doing it. It may have been a new feature, but since it has added, it's made a very easy workflow, right? So I'm going to delete this for now, just to show you can mix things up a lot. Now let's just pretend we want to edit this button. I'll show you exactly what the settings tab can do. Now, first of all, depending on what your module is, this one is a button. It's going to give you different settings for the button, right? So here we have the text. You actually have to edit the text inside of the settings though for buttons. Just keep in mind you can't edit the live text here. Let's just say I wanted to call this start here, right? So as you can see, live, it has changed the text over here, which is really easy. Now, if you want to add a link, which I suggest you do if it's a button, you can type in the link to the page you want here. Now, a little shortcut, if you are just linking into your website and you have, say, a start here page, I might just link this one to services. You can just press a /, which is actually going to essentially do this, right? All of that stuff, all of this up to here, but all you need is actually that, and it's going to work. So that's a little shortcut. It's not just for Divi, it's for all of WordPress, but it might save a bit of time for you. And then you can decide if you want it in a new tab or the same window. Now the admin label is here. I generally don't touch it. All it means is if you look in the back editor, it's going to have a custom label, but to be honest, I usually create everything on the front end, and you probably will too, so don't worry about it. Okay, so that's just the basic content. That's where you put sort of the nuts and bolts into everything. Now, if you come to the design tab, this is where you can actually make it look pretty. You can change the size, the color, all that sort of thing. So first of all, go on alignment. As you can see, it's on nothing at the moment, but if you click left, it'll stay left. Click middle, it'll go to the middle of the container. Right, it'll go right. Okay, and if you freak out and you want it just to go back to normal, once you hover actually next to the text, you'll see these little things pop up. And what it does is this is going to give you information. This one's actually your different devices, and this last one is reset. So if I press reset, it's going to undo all of the settings and put it back to normal. As you see, it's not on any of these now. Now there is actually a really cool thing with Divi, and what it allows you to do is you can actually change individual settings, right? So let's just say you wanted everything to stay the same for all devices. No worries, just click off that button. But let's just say for tablet you wanted it to be a different color, or you wanted it to align in a different way. Say for mobile you wanted it to be centered, right? So what you could do is go to phone, click center, and now every time it just goes to phone, it's going to be centered. But for desktop or tablet, it's always going to stay to the default because I haven't changed it, right? So that's one cool little thing about it. If you don't want to have that feature, you can just press reset, or you can just click off it and it's going to make it a global setting. So that's just a little something you can play with if you feel up to it, and just know that it's there. Next of all, we have text. This doesn't really matter too much. It's just if it's a basic light or dark theme, you can change it here, but generally it doesn't do too much. But what you want to do if you want to edit a button is come to button, and you want to click on, if it says no, you want to click yes, and it's going to give you a lot of options like so. So as you can see, we've got size. Once again, you can change it for your different devices. Now, there's another button here that you probably haven't seen just yet, and this is actually your hover button. So if you wanted to change the setting based on if you hover on it, you can actually do so here. So let's just say I wanted my text to go bigger when I hover on it. I can put that there, and if I click on tick and hover over it, as you can see, when it hovers now, it gets bigger. So that's another cool little feature that Divi makes really easy. So that's just inside there. Once again, if you just want to put it back to what it was, you can just press reset and it's going to make it originally what it was. Now, just the same as before, you've got your different devices like so. If you scroll down now, we can see there's the button text color. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's the text color of the button. If we keep going down, it's the same with the hover and the different devices as well. It's for every setting. If we keep going down, now you can see the button background color. Let's just say I wanted to make it, here's our color palette as well, by the way, if you filled it in. It's in the Divi settings. I'll show you where it is. So in Divi theme options, if you go to general, you can actually edit your color palette there. Always remember, if you change anything in any of the tabs, make sure you always click save changes. Sometimes I forget and it's a pain in the butt doing it twice. So that is that. So let's just say I wanted to make the button red. You know, self-explanatory. Press red goes red, press white goes white. So it's very simple. The hover is also there, and the default. So those options are there if you want it. So now when they hover, it'll change black and white. It's pretty cool. And you can change everything based on devices as well. I recommend at the start you don't get too technical. You can do it over time as you get a little bit more savvy. Also with the width, you can make the thickness of the border bigger, and you can also make the radius of it squarer. So if you wanted square buttons, round buttons, like so. And then you've got letter spacing, which is self-explanatory. Your fonts, your weights of your fonts. So if you wanted it to be thin, thick, all of these buttons are here. Now it is different for each different font. Some fonts don't have as many as Montserrat does. Is it Montserrat? Yeah, that's right. And then you've got these other little features. And then last of all, you have the button. So if you hover over it, you can add a different button. You don't always have to have the button though. So that's pretty much just the settings for it. Just to let you know, there are all these different types of settings. When you go into any module, all of the settings are going to be inside the design part, right? All the sort of visual sort of effects. So if you want to change the look of something, you always come to design, and that's all there. So next of all, we'll go into spacing. This is a very easy one. So if you remember back to the different containers, so padding inside of a module or inside of a container is the inside, while margin is the outside, right? So let's just hover over here as you can see, the green is all the way around here, but let's just say I wanted to put a 20 mil padding around the entire thing. I could press 20 mil padding. Now just a quick little tip here, if you click on these, it's going to link the top and the bottom together, same with the left and the right. It makes it a little bit faster if you want to play with it. So now if I look on here, the blue has got a 20 mil padding around the entire thing, while the green is still full, right? So let's just say we want it to do the other way around, so I'll just reset these like so. So this was on 0, I believe. 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's just say I wanted to put a 20 mil margin around this one here. So essentially it should be the same thing. It's going to give 20 mils on the outside of the container. Sorry, it's a 10. So it's exactly as it was before, except I used padding on the section. Now I've used margin on the row. So that's just something cool. And if you've played with some settings and you don't like it, you can always press X and it's not going to change the settings you've just created. Hope that makes sense. What else should I show you? There is also things like borders, box shadows. So if you wanted to have a border around here, as you can see the corners, I'll exaggerate it a bit just so you can see what it looks like. If I put 100, you see this particular container I'm in is now rounded. If you only want like a little one, you can just put 10. Once again, this is the link button. It's going to change all of them. Let's just say you wanted it to be quite a crazy shape. I could do this. You know, it's going to have all different sizes and everything. And then once again, you've still got all your devices and your hovers as well. So it's extremely in depth. Now, there are a few other options that we have. We've got the box shadow. So if you wanted to add a box shadow, this is actually 100%, so you can't see anything, but I'll show you quickly what it will look like. I'll give this inside some more padding. Okay, padding, like so. And if I put a box section on here, sorry, a box shadow, you'll see on the outside, it has now got a cool little box shadow, and you've got different settings for the box shadow here. If you want to make it wider, longer, all that sort of thing. So that's all there, and you've got all your different default ones as well. So that's all there for you. Filter is actually changing the colors, so you can change the colors of the entire contents if you want to. That's all there. It's a pretty cool feature if you get into that sort of thing. It's got like invert, and you know, it's pretty crazy. And then finally we've got transform. I wouldn't use transform unless you're quite savvy with Divi. It does get very intense. Essentially what you can do is you can make things bigger, smaller, you can rotate them, you can do like 3D sort of effects. You know, it's extremely comprehensive for a page builder. I don't think I've seen anything like it anywhere else. One good idea if you want it to be quite tricky is you could have it move when you hover over it, right? So this is just an example. I probably don't recommend you do it until you're quite comfortable using Divi, but I'll just put this back to 0. I'll just leave it there for now. What you can do is actually change it on hover to go a different way, right? So if I go like this, it's going to move when I hover over it. So it's so as you can see, it's doing a crazy thing. I personally don't use it much. It's a bit too intense. I just want to have a nice website. So that's there if you want it. It's pretty cool. And last of all is animation. And this is when the page first loads. It can either do all of these different animations: zoom, flip, fold, roll, bounce, slide. It's entirely up to you. Just keep in mind that it does take a few seconds to load. If you wanted a really fast page to load, I'd recommend to limit these, but that's up to you. Usually people just make the modules slide in as well. So instead of choosing the section, you could just choose the module that you want to have an animation. So go to animation, and then you could choose like slide, and it's only going to do that one particular thing. So that's pretty much, you've got all your settings here too, but I won't get into that. So that's pretty much the settings for the builder, which is cool. That's just each particular module or container's got the same thing. Finally, we have here advanced. And if you are CSS savvy, this is where you are going to be putting in your classes. If you only wanted certain things to happen from CSS, you can add in your ID and your class here. Of course, if you don't know anything about CSS, I recommend you stay away. It can potentially break some things. I'd suggest either taking a quick course in CSS or doing a bit of research. But you can also add in your CSS here. You've got a few different places you can add it: before, main element, and after. And this is for all modules, sections, and rows. And then finally we have attributes. You can have things like no follow if you want to make it a no follow link. And you've got all these different options here. Visibility I do use quite a bit. For example, if you wanted a element to not show up on a phone or tablet just because it's the wrong size, things like tables or images, you can actually disable them. And what this means, that it's just not going to show on these devices. But if you want it to show on everything, just leave it. And then finally, transitions, which we sort of talked about earlier. It just means how fast they load once the page loads. Position, I wouldn't really worry about that too much as well. It's a bit of a custom sort of design. I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you are quite a professional developer. I personally haven't even done it. And then finally, we've got scroll effects. You can play around with these if you want. I've personally found if you play with them a bit too much and it doesn't quite work right, people will be a little bit off put. So I generally don't play with that either. But that is the builder inside of the page. As you can see, it's extremely comprehensive. I'd recommend, if you wanted to just build some stuff, like just try to be as resourceful as possible. I'm just going to reset everything on this page. So I'll just load it again. I'll press don't restore. And what I'm going to do is I'll just show you quickly how you can create your basic layout of your website, and then you can go ahead and change things. So what I generally do if I'm creating a website is I'll create the blank pages, and then I'll go into the layout. Now I will just come in here, I'll choose a template pack that I like. So if I was choosing something miles down here, it would take a while to find it. So just remember the name. So this one, say, is author. If you wanted to just search it, you just type in author, give it a few seconds, and all your pages pop up here. It's a bit of a little tip. But luckily for this example, I'm just using this one. So I'm just going to come in here, click on home, use this layout. And what I generally do is open each page. So I'll just open these in new tabs like so. And then I'll click Edit Visual Builder for all three. So I like to batch do things. It just makes it a little bit quicker. And then once they open, press Choose Layout, choose the pack that you're using, and then just choose the page that you're trying to build and press Use this layout, and it's going to quickly load them all. So I'll do it for each individual page just so we can speed things up a little bit. And this one is going to be I've got services, but I'll use portfolio. It's much of a muchness. Contact, and we will choose the contact page like so. And you'll get much faster at this too. I've built like loads of websites, so I'm pretty quick. But if it takes you a little bit longer, don't worry. So what you want to do is you really just want to come in here, start customizing things. If you don't have anything to fill it with, you can always just delete the entire section. Keep it to whatever you need. And then once you're happy, press save. And I'm just going to save all of these different pages like so. And then once that's all done, let's just say I've edited it, you should have some pretty cool, a pretty cool looking website, right? So if I click on home, I now have this awesome layout, and as you can see, it's already got the custom default animations. If I go to the about, it's going to have all of these default animations and so forth. And this has got, just remember, like 170 plus layout packs. Even if you want to create your own from scratch, I recommend you even just start with a basic layout pack, and then you can edit it to suit, and you can add things in from there. And another good thing as well, guys, is they're all mobile responsive. So if I go to inspect and I show you it like so, as you can see, it moves with different screen sizes, right? Or if I wanted to say check an iPhone, you can just go to iPhone, and this is what it's going to look like. So you can always move things based on how you want it to look. I think I've shown you. I'll quickly show you once again. If you want to see what it looks like on mobile, you'll have these three dots down here. It's actually going to open up this little box. So you've got your different layouts out here. This is like a zoomed out view, so it's going to show you your entire page. This one is your desktop, this one's your tablet, and then finally you've got your phone. And if you go even left one more, this is when you would have the name. Remember I talked about the label. This is where the labels show up. But to be honest, no one really uses this editor. It's the old original way. This way looks a lot easier to use, like so. And these buttons here, plus is if, say, you decided you don't like that layout, you want to use a different pack, you can do so here. Or maybe I'll even give you a little spin. I'll give you a little bit extra, just to a little bit of a trick that you can do. Let's just say I liked this video and I wanted to add this video here to my personal homepage, but I haven't got it here. You know, I could. What generally people do was they'd go and add their own video, and then they'll try to make it look like one on another page, but it just takes a bit of time. So what you can actually do is you can press this button and you can input either an existing page. Let's say you've already done it on your about page. That didn't load properly, but on your existing page would generally be here. Or what you can do is you can reload the default pack. So I believe that was on about. So what you can do is press about and see this little button here. It says replace existing content. You can just uncheck that, right? And go use this layout. And what it's going to do is it's going to add that entire page to the bottom of your existing page. So what you can just do is delete the things you don't want, and then keep the ones that you do. So it's just like a cool little thing that I've found really handy over time. Let's just say I wanted to keep this. I could just drag this up to my page. Say I wanted to put it here. And there's the video like so. And then everything I don't want, I can just delete, 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 and delete, and delete. One more, I think. And there it is. So that has now added the element, and it's got all the customizations without having to go in and manually do it. It'll just save you a little bit of time. Okay. Once again, once you're happy, press save. Now, trash is obviously deleting the page, so don't worry about that. This just minimizes the bottom bar. Settings here will give you your page settings. So if you wanted to do your title, you know, your excerpt, do your featured image, all those types of SEO things, you can do so here. There is also a split test feature. It's okay. It's not, I believe, the most polished. I'm not going to talk about it in this particular video because I personally don't use it enough. But it is there if you ever wanted to play with it. What it does is it gives you certain functions that you can split test. Say, if you wanted to split test the title, you can do so there, and it's going to give you demographics over time. This is actually your sort of customization history. So if you did something, if you did something that looks ugly or broke the website, you can just refresh an older history, and it's going to be pretty good. Then finally, you've got this one here, which is portability. And what that can do is, let's say you love this template and you created it for a friend. You can press this button here and you can export it, or you can import one that someone else has done for you. Once again, you've got the replace existing content and all this sort of good stuff here. So that's there if you want it as well. Finally, we've got the save button. We have got these, but you probably won't use them much. This is the help button if you want it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and press save. So this sort of page is done. And if we go back to the beginning, we have a pretty good looking website so far. Now you'll notice the header is not customized yet. So we're going to quickly do that. And also this footer is really ugly. So I'm going to actually remove that. And also this at the bottom, designed by Elegant Themes, powered by WordPress. I want to change that as well. So what I'm going to quickly do is show you how to do that. Sometimes people get confused about it. So I'm just going to quickly show you that before we wrap this up. So all the menu settings are done here. So hover over your website name and click Theme Customizer. And if you haven't yet changed your main logo, you're going to have to do so in the Divi Theme options. It's not in the Customizer setting. I'll quickly give you a quick rundown of how it works, and then I'll actually upload one so you can see. So here is the website. Here's everything inside here. For this example, I just want to get rid of these particular widgets. So if I go to footer area 1, here are those 3 widgets. I can just press remove, remove, and finally remove. And now it's going to actually hide this entire section because there is no footers there. Of course, if you are going to add widgets to the footer, then you go to the widgets page like so, and then you can add in your own widgets. But that's just a basic WordPress thing. Once again, if you want to learn about it, check out the other video. But that is done, so that looks better already. Now for the most basic one is the footer. Okay, so this bottom bar here, designed by Elegant Themes, powered by WordPress, I don't like that. I don't want it to be there. So there's two things you can do. You can either disable the footer credits, which just deletes the entire thing, or you can add in your own custom one. So let's just say I'm going to type in, copyright 2020 beginner website. You can put something in like that. Now, if you know anything about HTML, you can add an HTML here. I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but you can create it so these things are clickable, so you can play with that. There'll be more to do with that in future tutorials though. So if you want to do that, I'd suggest either Google it, it will be there, or either go to W3 Schools. They've got a lot of great CSS and HTML tutorials, right? So that's pretty much what I would do here. If I wanted to make it a little bit longer, I could just put, www.beginnerwebsite.com, something like that. So make sure you press publish every time you change something, or else you may lose your work. So that is done. I've removed the widgets. Finally, the last thing is to customize my my header or my menu. So what you can do is go header and navigation, and you see header format. Now there is a few different ways. You can have center inline, so you've got your logo in the middle, or else you could have just centered, so it's like that. I personally just leave it on default. I believe it looks the best for websites. Let's just say I don't want the search icon here. If you go to header elements, you can remove the search icon. If you wanted a secondary header, you can also add in phone number and email here. I'm not going to really talk about this particular one here, but you have to go and create a secondary menu, that sort of thing. But that is there if you want it. It's the extra menu at the top, so that's there. I'm going to, for this particular example, change the text. Let's just say I want my menu items to be bold. Maybe I want them to be a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll go to 15. And then you can change the background and all that sort of stuff there. So I can press publish. Now, just to show you how to swap the Divi, you should have probably already added the logo. If you haven't, don't worry. I'll quickly show you how to do that. So I'm going to click upload. I'm going to drag in my logo. You can always press upload here. I just didn't want to show you my personal computer. This is a white transparent logo that I've personally used. So I'm going to press set as logo. Always remember to press save changes. Now, if I go to the actual website, you'll see it is not set as the homepage I've already set. So I'll quickly show you where you can do that. So on the left, once you go into your Divi Customize, you go homepage settings, a static page, and choose home and press publish. Now, if I go to the basic site, like so, you will see this is our custom layout. Now, I've put a white transparent logo here and you can't see it. So I'm going to make the menu actually black with white text just to show you what it will look like and show you how to do it. So if you go to header, navigation, primary menu bar, if you scroll down, you've got your text color, which I'm now going to turn to white. As you can see, it's disappeared. Now, active link color is the one that you're currently on. I'm just going to change that to white as well. And then I'm going to change my background color to black. Okay, so there you go. There is my my logo. It's really cool, as well as, all the menu options, like so. So that shows you sort of how you can add in the menu, customize everything, and make it look a little bit better. Obviously, you'll play with it. You can play with things like transparency if you want, or all of that sort of stuff. But that's all there for you. There's all your fonts and everything. So, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you make a quick sort of website using Divi. And hopefully this Divi theme tutorial has been helpful. It's been a little bit long, but hopefully I've gone through some really cool things. It's going to definitely fast track your success with Divi. So I'm just going to jump behind the camera quickly. I've got a few extra things to say. Okay, guys, so that was the Divi theme tutorial. Hopefully you guys are still watching it. It was a little bit longer than expected, but Divi theme is massive. It's got endless potential, and you should be able to use this one theme forever. It's got that much going for it. So I hope you have enjoyed this Divi theme tutorial. Once again, if you are just deciding on using Divi and you want to get yourself a free SEO course, make sure you use the links in the description. I will give you a SEO course for free. So that's really cool. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if it's been beneficial. Make sure you subscribe for more WordPress and website videos. I'm really excited to share some more stuff with you. And I hope you guys have a great day. It's been really fun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.